Hi, I'm Bill Patton with USA Tennis Coach, and I'm back again with David Smith, the master, and as you can see, David is incredibly small, but he has a keyboard made for giants. So, no, he's actually bigger than he looks. Objects in mirror closer than they appear. Anyway, so that's enough joking for the moment, but we're going to talk a little bit about, how as a team coach to cope with what we're dealing with right now. I mean, this is a very, very interesting time that we're living in with coronavirus and seasons that have been, for many people, stopped. I don't know of any teams that are currently playing. Pretty much all NCAA play is done. So, So Dave, where do we start with what role can a coach play during a time when everything has come to a halt?
Well, everything's so fluid. Right now I think the main thing is to be able to communicate to your team giving them ideas of what they can be doing. One of the things I do with my players is I get them to try to watch as much video as possible, and trying to get them to do that sometimes is a little bit difficult because they've got schoolwork and now they're, all of our classes have been canceled, so they're doing other stuff. But, the main thing is to keep the learning curve going. Read books, watch videos. There's ways that players can still improve. We teach a lot of things that kids can do, toss and block drills with a sibling or a mom or a dad if they want, down bounces, up bounces, catches, things they can do with their racket and a ball that can still keep them improving their hand-eye coordination, their touch, their feel, their racket orientation. So there's a lot of things, still limited obviously in scope, but I really like the idea of, okay, it's like a rainy day practice. Okay, we can't go on the courts, all right? So what do? We go in the gym. Well, obviously we can't do that, but we can still take that concept and say, what can we do? And I think the biggest thing, and I'll let you jump in on this, but I think the biggest thing is to get kids thinking, hey, life isn't always, just peaches and cream. How can I still improve even though I'm forced to be limited in my opportunities at this point in time? And so if you can get kids thinking, hey, what can I do to still improve? I think we've at least given kids a chance to not only improve in tennis, but that's really a life skill.
Yeah, and here in the Bay Area, right at this moment, at this filming, we are in shelter in place. So 6 Bay Area counties, it's basically non-essential travel is discouraged, right? So and only essential services are being offered. So pretty much everybody's home from work, everybody's home from school, blah blah blah. But you can still go on a tennis court.
Sure.
So people can still go out and play, but they just can't really be in close contact with a coach. So in your area, figure out, can you get on a tennis court and go hit some and organize some stuff. Obviously you want to follow the guidelines of the CDC and keep this, social space and all that, and wash your hands before and after, because a lot of people make the point, if you're touching the ball that came from somebody else and their sweat got on it, I don't know. I don't think it really translates through sweat. I think it's almost a completely an airborne thing. But now, I think part of it too is that coaches, I think, have an opportunity to be sort of that rock, that reassuring presence of, hey, everything's okay. There's adversity. I've been recommending to coaches and tennis pros to be in touch with your people. So yesterday, I spent a good 45 minutes to an hour reaching out to my clients that are my most common people that I work with, and then today I'm going to follow up and go a little deeper in my list of people and saying, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? Here's my plan. I'm going to do a little online instruction with you. I can't go to my club,
Right.
I'm feeling fortunate because I know for sure that I would be feeling torn up if I was currently coaching a team and the season came to a sudden halt. So even though you, the coach, might be feeling like, oh, this is such a terrible thing, and it's just chewing you up inside, fake it. you know, fake it.
Well, yeah, I think that, how you respond is going to say a lot to your players if you're a coach or working with junior players, or regardless whether it's a team. But definitely, I think just the idea of, hey, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this, and hopefully we'll have a season. If we don't, we're going to honor you seniors as best we can because you guys have put in 3.5 years with us, blah, blah, blah. We definitely want to recommend.
To just talk a little bit about coping with this coronavirus thing and what are you doing for your people? So
you want to know what we're doing?
Yeah. How are you handling the coronavirus thing? What's going on in Las Vegas right now?
Okay, so the first days, I was like, okay, we're going to shorten everything. We're going to do smaller groups. It's going to be great. And then the next day I was like, okay, we're doing anybody that paid for a group, you're going to do 45-minute privates. I need 15 minutes in between to clean. I got a super small facility, so it was super easy to do that. And then the next day, that's when that night, Tuesday night, that's when they were like, you're shutting everything down. So then I'm getting frantic messages. Please tell me we're still on. I'm going to kill my kids tomorrow. Like, I'm going to kill them. Like, tonight is when the governor ordered everything to shut down. The shutdown. So the parents started texting me on Tuesday night, and they were like, are we still on? Like, I've been homeschooling these kids for 2 days and I want to kill them. Please tell me we're still on, right?
Yeah.
And, so I was like, we're still on. So
yeah,
we're still on. So I was doing the lessons again, 45 minutes. And anybody did have privates, we did privates. And then last night, this morning, I don't have anything scheduled this morning until this afternoon. So I'll pretty much start doing outdoor lessons at the park.
Okay, so if you're watching this, don't call the governor of Nevada, please. Right. So, yeah, in my area, we're shut down, and I'm not teaching. The Bay Area has been hit particularly hard, but I think one thing we need to do is just reassure everybody that it's actually really not that big of a deal, but it does make sense to stop for a bit just so that it doesn't turn into a bigger deal.
Right, that's right. I think there's a lot of people that are frantic right now. I don't think anybody's experienced anything like this before, so I think that their first instinct is to panic. Yeah. I think a health worker had posted something that made a lot of sense, and that they are required to be a little more calm. And I think that everybody should exercise the same exact thing,
Yeah. And coaches, I think, because we have this kind of built in, because competing is stressful. Teaching kids in a kind of a fluid atmosphere is stressful. We ought to be modeling calm at all times. This is my MO. I'm like Mr. Calm, right? Chaos is going on around me, and I'm like Tom Landry out there. You just don't see any emotion from me at all, because I don't want to poison the atmosphere. So we coaches really have a tremendous ability to influence people for the better during a time like this. So, I'm lucky in that I don't have this huge clientele that all of a sudden is worried about, are they going to have a lesson tomorrow? So I actually have the opportunity to, proactively text them out before they even start thinking about what happens next. So, but yeah, it's a great time to reach out and make sure everybody's doing okay on a personal.
Hey, I've got to run. Speaking of tennis, I do have my program that I've got outside here. So I'm going to let you guys talk about that, and I'll join you guys soon, I hope.
Can we go a little further into what can coaches do during a time like this? I mean, is there something that are you engaging the families and the kids with, hey, this is going on, but it's business as usual? How are you handling that?
So I think that right now there's a lot of people that want to wait about a week, and then there's people that just want to go. I think I'm pushing more of the, let's get your kids out to get some exercise.
Yeah.
One of the parents yesterday said that it was to it all week, like that was the only thing that they were allowed to do. So, it's tough to cut things out for kids right now. You want to maintain some sort of normal life in the midst of all of this. I also had a parent come in a couple of days ago that was super upset. She cried while she was at the lesson, and she said she didn't want to sound morbid, but she thought that everybody should just get it over with, because she felt that after 2 or 3 weeks there would not be a cure, and that we'd still be sitting in the same exact place, afraid. So it's been a mix. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a mix of people, and I think the best thing to do is to push people to exercise and to get out, not necessarily to engage in large group gatherings or anything like that, but to stay healthy. But we should be, as coaches, we should probably doing things like, how do we get your PE credits in? How do we do like 30-day challenges? Who's going to be the strongest after the next 30 days? What can we do to help you with that? How do we get onto live calls with you so we can do workouts? Like we should be sitting for the next 24 hours or 48 hours without sleep and finding new ways to do business before we fall behind the other people that are doing the same thing, is what I'm saying.
So, Wensey, I think you should get on one of these Tim Bainton live calls. That is really some good stuff. Now, I don't know about the 24 hours with no sleep thing, but no, there's urgency. I mean, get it figured out.
I say that because my rep from American Express, I said, dude, what are those new programs? I messaged him last week. I said, what are those programs they got from American Express? I know there's some marketing tools that you got that are no cost that can help me. And he came in yesterday with his kids, and he goes, I didn't forget about you. I want you to know American Express has been up for 24 hours finding new ways to help businesses in this crisis. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. We're not the only business. Just because we are a tennis doesn't mean that other businesses aren't trying to reinvent themselves. I'm not saying that we're in competition with tennis coaches. We're in competition with everybody when they reopen, because everybody will think of new things for them their kids to do. And if we're not ahead of them at that time, we'll be pushed out by other sports. We'll be pushed out.
Yeah, and one thing I really love about you is how hyper competitive you are in that. I mean, you're always thinking about winning the game, and
That's right.
and we need to do that. So absolutely. Now, one thing I'm really pushing is this is a time to reset. I mean, if we have these problems, we have helicopter parents, and we have over-the-top coaches, and we have organizations that don't really care about the conditions of play and whatnot. And so we have a moment right now, maybe the only chance we'll ever have to really stop and say, all right, some of the stuff that's unacceptable, it's completely unacceptable, and I'm going to drive a stake in the ground right now and say, I will fight this battle. So moving forward, so for you and for you, what's a battle you're going to fight moving forward, and maybe what's one that you think a lot of people can fight moving forward?
When you say reset, it is definitely something we reset every moment. Like even when we were outdoors yesterday coaching, I thought, wow, this is very different. Even there, I said, we need more cleaning materials out here. There's not, kids should be taught something a little different about the way they pick up balls. Maybe just cleanliness in general. I don't know that, I think because we were dirty kids, I think we allowed kids to be dirty. Do you know what I'm talking about? We did. I mean, I told kids this weekend, I was like, you go wash your hands, because you can't tell me you're not dirty. I do not care when the last time you did it. I used to be a kid. I was dirty. We ran around. We rolled around in the dirt. We were dirty. We were sweaty. And I don't think that, I think we allowed it to get to this way. If anything, the first thing that has to happen is there has to be a change in hygiene. It just has to, in general.
I want to caveat in there because there's a lot of research that shows that kids do need to be in contact with a lot of stuff because then the antibodies are built up. Pediatricians or whoever, say that children do need to crawl around on the floor because they're going to come in contact with stuff and their immune system will then engage because of that. So I think to some extent we've gone the wrong way with trying to keep everything clean all the time. Now, caveat, because of course, you have to wash your hands before you eat dinner.
Right.
Let's keep it balanced. I mean, I think we, to try to live an antiseptic lifestyle is actually counterproductive. But yeah, I mean, one thing that, was coming up was that, hey, you can still play tennis. And then people were like, well, but you're touching the same ball as the other person, but this is not even transmitted that way. It's a airborne that thing. It's largely airborne, but okay, wash your hands after you play. It's like common sense though. So what else can we do on the reset side of things besides thinking about being a little cleaner?
Well, I don't know. I think that we need to go back to fun. Maybe the seriousness has to go away for a sec. That's the only other thing I think. But I'm always for the fun. So
I had an interesting interaction where I posted an article about the top 5 things about an athlete-centered coach. And number 5 was a good focus on enjoyment. And I don't say fun because fun's kind of a byproduct, but teaching kids and parents to enjoy the process, that's a big deal. And then at times you will have fun. Some spontaneous fun's gonna happen because of that. But the coach pushed back on me. He's like, no, it's all about hard work and results and the outcomes. And I like to see the kids really improve. And I'm like, I'm not saying they shouldn't improve or work. I'm just saying you got to make it fun somehow, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And he and I went back and forth on this, and he just isn't going to agree with that.
Yeah, I think that I don't know how you'd reset on a person that was like a helicopter parent or anything like that. In the past, I've always brought parents in that were a little bit tough like that. And I've pushed them, maybe I've fed maybe one too many or extra balls to them so that they could see that their kids actually do push harder than they think they do. And it's kind of handled those type of things where the parent was like, wow, I didn't realize that they could go that long, or wow, I didn't realize they were hitting that many balls, or I didn't realize how hard this was, some of that stuff. And it relieved a lot of the pressure on it. But I think if you don't do the early steps of it, I think telling a parent that, they need not engage in the middle of a match or at a tournament or all that stuff. If you don't do that when they first start, if the first coach doesn't do that, they'll do that forever. I don't know how to reset that.
I'm pretty good at that. I've retrained a few parents.
Have you? I have not retrained one yet. I've trained them from the beginning.
Yeah, no, I seem to get a lot of parents who are on the second coach or the third coach. I seem to be the island of misfit toys. So I get these people and we go to a tournament and they're like, ugh, oh. I'm like, I don't know if you're aware of this, but your kid senses that when you're doing that. You know that, right? No, they do. I'm like, yes, they do. So after the match, it's like, hey, Michelle, come on over here. Hey, did you notice when your parents were like going, hey? She's like, yeah, I did. I'm like, yeah, I noticed. It's really an interesting thing. And I don't know how parents got to a place where they didn't have empathy. I mean, how did they get to a place where they didn't remember being a kid?
Right. You're right about that.
If you're coaching, go to work on either your worst behaved parent or your most easily managed badly behaved parent.
Mm-hmm.
figure out a good starting place, because some of them, like you said, are unmanageable. They're just not going to change. So why beat your head against the wall? But maybe you have one you can save.
That's right. That's right. That makes total sense. That makes total sense. No, I said I might be more interested in the how does one like reinvent themselves all over the place than I am trade about all the kids and how to fix the kids and the parents all over again. You know, I just am like trying to figure out how to steal the business from the cheerleader place or the soccer place or the karate place. That's, how do I get their business? That's all. I just feel like we're going to be, I don't know if it's what I want to tackle.
I'm going to say that the number one thing is you can protect yourself against losing to them by maintaining good open lines of communication. I'm thinking, what other institutions are reaching out personally to their people? Okay, we're getting flooded by emails. Hey, we Corporation X are really concerned about your health and welfare during this time, blah, 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 blah. Okay, nice email, excellent, right? But if an institution reached out to me with a phone call and said, Bill, how are you? How's your family? Is there anything we can do to help connect you to some services at this time? Right? That's above and beyond.
Like gold.
And so if the dance place and the cheerleader place and the volleyball place isn't doing that and you are, word will get out.
Right. That makes sense. That makes total sense.
I mean, that's just one thing I think people really need to be about at this time. So, all right, any final words before we wrap this thing up?
No. I just cannot believe we're here. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, it's an unbelievable time, but
it's unbelievable.
Well, and I think that is a good final word, because we are sort of in a place of disbelief, and we need to shake that off and get rational and realize that there's an opportunity here. But if we kind of stay in this, I can't believe this is happening state of mind, then we're not going to act like we ought to, right?
Right.
Okay, and that's a wrap. All right, hey Wensey, thanks for coming on, and I'll look forward to having you on again when we have the show we were meant to have.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.